Hey guys, so I'm sure you might have noticed, but I was on a little impromptu break from YouTube. Let's see what Nintendo was up to while I was on break. I mean, I'm thinking they probably announced some games that they're gonna show off at E3, maybe a new Smash Bros. Fighter reveal or something along those lines. I can't wait to see what they've been doing all this time.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
Super Mario Party is a game I've had a very mixed history with. I guess mixed isn't the right term because it's not mixed at all. I just do not like this game. It spurred this whole massive 30-minute video on Mario Party. I think it is probably the worst Mario Party ever made. Even though it does some things right, like it has a really nice roster of characters, it was just an absolute joke. One of the things I hated about it the most though was how they advertised it was going to be the first Mario Party with online, and then the online was essentially a non-factor. It was essentially not even in the game. You could play 5 mini-games online? Like, what is even that? However, Nintendo, 2.5 years later, has updated this game now to have online play. Try and make that one make sense. 2.5 years. Now, while everyone on the internet, including myself, was losing their collective mind about this because it just came out of nowhere, I started thinking as to why this is. I mean, Nintendo is random, we know this, and there's a high chance that they were just like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's time to do this, like, why not? But I'd say there's an equally high chance that there's a reason behind this, and in this video, I want to discuss what is the real reason that this Mario Party update came out now. Why did Nintendo wait so long and finally put out a Super Mario Party online update that people have been asking for 2.5 years, but Nintendo previously had 0 indicators showing that they were actually going to do it? However, right before we get into that, I have a word from today's sponsor. Just because Super Mario Party is only now getting online play doesn't mean we don't all use the internet pretty much daily. And browsing the internet in the modern day can be extremely risky as you're constantly sending important data on an unprotected connection. That's where today's sponsor, NordVPN, comes in. With over 5,300 servers in 59 countries, Nord essentially acts as a shield, protecting your private data from falling into the wrong hands. On top of that, certain countries have different prices for various products. For example, you guys all know PJ, he makes videos on this channel too, and he lives in Canada. He's always complaining about how prices are higher in Canada, and so I checked and he's actually not lying. If he wants 1 month of premium Netflix, it's $18.99 in Canadian currency. However, using NordVPN, he could just switch his location to India, and suddenly 1 month of Netflix only costs the equivalent of $13 in Canadian currency. So not only does Nord allow you to mask your location, access blocked content, and protect your data, but it'll also save you a bunch of money if you do any shopping online. For all those reasons and more, you should go to nordvpn.com/switchstop or use code SWITCHSTOP to get a 2-year plan plus 1 additional month with a huge discount. This special offer is going away pretty soon, so if you want to protect your internet connection, do it the right way with NordVPN. Alright, let's jump right into the video. First reason I think Nintendo did this is because they're going to announce Super Mario Party DLC this E3. Now the first question that comes up is apparent. Why didn't they have Super Mario Party DLC earlier? Well, Super Mario Party was a massive success, selling past Nintendo's wildest expectations, so you would assume it would get instant DLC, right? Well, ND Cube, the company that worked on Super Mario Party, released Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics in June of 2020. That's not a massive game, it probably took like 1.5 years or 2 years to develop, so you could assume that they started working on that right when they finished Super Mario Party towards the end of 2018. Then once that released midway through 2020, maybe Nintendo was like, oh great, you're free. Remember that game you released a couple years ago? Yeah, it sold over 13 million units. You're gonna need to go back and work more on it. And now ND Cube is working more on DLC. However, again, the game is relatively old in technology video game terms. I mean, 2.5 years is essentially ancient, which is kind of crazy to think about, but just the way it is. So maybe ND Cube was like, hey, Nintendo just upgraded their servers, which supposedly improves the online infrastructure of every single Nintendo Switch Online game. Maybe we can make an update and actually do the online that we were supposed to do at launch, and that'll get people talking about this game so that when we release paid DLC later on with more boards, characters, what have you, it's not as much out of left field. People will have been playing the game more recently because of the online update. I think this is by far the most likely theory, but it's not the only one I have. In fact, the theories only get much weirder from here. The next one is that Nintendo is going to go through and update a lot of their games to have online play, and Super Mario Party just made the most sense to be first. As I said, Nintendo most recently updated their servers Improving the online infrastructure, improving like the back-end system stuff. I'm not going to pretend to really know exactly what they're doing. All I know is that the servers that Nintendo's games run on have been upgraded and the firmware has been shifted to presumably a more positive and better system. So now that they did that, maybe Nintendo is saying, okay, now that we actually have a decent online system that works well, we should go back in and add online functionality to a bunch of games that didn't previously support it on Switch just to bolster the reason to buy a Nintendo Switch Online membership. So they go through all their games. Hey, what makes the most sense? Oh, without a doubt, Super Mario Party. Nintendo knows they dropped the ball on the online when this originally came out. I mean, that's so obvious. Like, it was just god awful. Could previously local multiplayer games such as New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Mario Odyssey be getting online updates so that you can actually play these games online with other people with the membership that we are, currently paying for to play games online? That would be super, super cool, and Super Mario Party does make sense, as out of all those games I listed and all the other Switch games that could have online play that don't already, Super Mario Party is definitely the one that would benefit the most, so it makes sense for them to do it first. If they were, going back through all their older Switch games and updating the ones that made most sense to get online play. This last theory is by far the weirdest, but it's super interesting from a Nintendo Switch Online perspective. Super Mario Party uses the online play invite feature that is so incredibly underutilized, as in most people do not know it exists for Nintendo Switch. Basically, you can invite your friends to join your Mario Party lobby, and then they get a little notification in the top left of their Switch, and you can access it through the menu and then join directly through, so when you boot up Super Mario Party, it loads you into that lobby immediately. This is actually useful and like a modern feature that Nintendo has implemented that, obviously Xbox and PlayStation have had for a while, but hey, I mean, it's a modern feature for Nintendo Online. That deserves at least a round of applause for Nintendo. However, unfortunately, Mario Party is one of the only games that actually utilizes this. A couple other games do here and there, but Mario Party is definitely the biggest name one, at least off the top of my head. So what if Nintendo is going to go back through all the games that already have online, and they're going to update it to include this online play feature? They're just utilizing it in Super Mario Party as somewhat of a beta test, maybe, just to make sure it works, or more so as a way to slowly introduce the Switch population, because keep in mind, there's like 80 million, there's like an insane amount of Switches out there. I don't know the exact number, but I don't know. It's somewhere really high up there. So if millions and millions of people are starting to see, weird new notifications they've never seen before on their Switch, like all the time, it might be a little weird. So they're starting to slowly introduce people with, maybe Mario Party, then maybe Animal Crossing, so you don't have to sit through the boring airport thing every single time you want to go to your friends, then maybe Mario Kart, so you don't have to, create a tournament or join your friend's room, then maybe Super Smash Bros, so you don't have to go into like a battle thing and then do the ID, whatever, that like takes forever and everyone always forgets. Then maybe they'll update the rest of the games, and that would be, that would be insane, because it seems like such a minor feature, right? Like, it's something that really should have been in Nintendo Switch Online from the beginning, but you know what also should have been on Nintendo Switch Online from the beginning? A real virtual console. So, I mean, it's not like we're on the cutting edge of, internet use here. I mean, Nintendo Switch Online, it's kind of a joke, like, I'll just be honest. I'm not saying it's not worth it. Actually, I think it's very much so worth it, because we've got games like, Super Mario Bros. 35. Wait. No, but seriously, we have Tetris 99, Pac-Man 99, and a bunch of NES/SNES games. I'm just talking from an actual online perspective. Like, no one uses the voice chat on the phone and all that stuff. Like, the online is probably the least used part of Nintendo Switch Online. So it would be super interesting if Nintendo was able to kind of boost it with this. So with that out of the way, let me know what you think about these three theories down in the comments below. Once again, thank you so much for NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Sorry about the long break, guys. A lot more videos are coming very, very soon, I promise. But with that all out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Thomas from the Switch Stop, signing off. Peace.